There was a quiet moment recently, hidden between the noise of an ordinary day and the silence that follows deep reflection, when your name drifted into a conversation you never witnessed. No announcement was made, no dramatic scene unfolded, and yet something powerful happened. The person whose soul feels mysteriously connected to yours found themselves speaking about you, and the words that left their heart carried far more emotion than anyone expected. The conversation began casually, almost by accident. People were discussing life, relationships, dreams, and the strange ways certain individuals leave lasting impressions. Then your soulmate became unusually thoughtful, as though a distant memory had suddenly stepped forward from the shadows and demanded to be acknowledged. The atmosphere shifted in a way that was impossible to ignore. For a moment, they seemed unsure whether to say anything at all. Some feelings grow so deep that language struggles to hold them properly. Yet silence was no longer enough, and the emotions they had been carrying quietly within themselves finally found a pathway into words. The person listening noticed the change immediately. Your soulmate's voice softened, and their eyes carried a distant look, as though they were seeing something precious that existed far beyond the room they were sitting in. Without realizing it, they began speaking about you with a sincerity that revealed more than they intended. Type Amen if this message resonates with your spirit. They spoke about your energy first. Not the version of you that the world casually sees, but the deeper essence that lingers long after conversations end. They described someone whose presence carries both strength and gentleness, someone who remains unforgettable even during long periods of silence. The listener expected ordinary compliments, but what emerged was something much deeper. Your soulmate explained that there was a quality about you that could not easily be defined. It was not merely appearance, success, or charm. It was something spiritual, something that seemed to reach places words could not touch. As they continued speaking, memories began unfolding naturally. Small moments that appeared insignificant at the time suddenly became meaningful treasures in their heart. They remembered expressions, gestures, and quiet interactions that had somehow stayed with them long after everything else faded away. Many people pass through life leaving brief impressions, but your soulmate admitted that you never felt temporary. Even during periods of distance, there remained an invisible thread connecting their thoughts back to you. No matter how busy life became, your presence continued returning to their mind in unexpected ways. Comment 333 if you believe divine timing is always working behind the scenes. The conversation grew more emotional than they anticipated. They spoke about the comfort they feel when thinking about you. In a world that often feels rushed and uncertain, your memory became a place of peace, a reminder that genuine connections still exist. The listener watched carefully as your soulmate described the way you inspire growth without even trying. They explained that thinking about you encouraged them to become more honest with themselves, more patient with life, and more willing to believe that meaningful relationships are still possible. Not every lesson arrives through direct teaching. Sometimes a person's mere existence becomes a source of transformation. Your soulmate confessed that your influence had quietly reshaped certain parts of their perspective, helping them see life through a different lens. There was admiration in their words, but there was also gratitude. Deep within their heart, they recognized that crossing paths with you had not been meaningless. Whether they fully understood the purpose or not, they sensed that your connection carried significance beyond ordinary circumstances. Type 111 to welcome positive energy into your journey. As the conversation continued, a deeper truth emerged. They admitted that there were moments when they tried to ignore what they felt. Life often encourages people to remain practical, logical, and guarded, especially when emotions become intense. Yet despite every effort to move forward as though nothing unusual existed, thoughts of you continued returning. The listener smiled gently because the sincerity was impossible to miss. This was not infatuation speaking. It was the voice of someone acknowledging a connection that had quietly grown roots within their soul. Your soulmate described how certain songs unexpectedly reminded them of you. Certain places carried echoes of your energy. Even ordinary moments sometimes triggered memories they had not intended to revisit. What surprised them most was the consistency of these experiences. Weeks could pass. Circumstances could change. Entire chapters of life could unfold. Yet the emotional imprint you left behind remained remarkably intact. Comment 777 as a symbol of trust in your spiritual path. There came a moment when the listener asked them to explain exactly what made you different. Your soulmate paused for a long time before answering. The silence itself revealed the depth of what they felt. Finally, they explained that being connected to you felt natural rather than forced. There was no need for endless performance or constant effort. Something about your energy felt familiar, as though their spirit recognized yours long before their mind could understand why. They spoke about authenticity. In a world where many people hide behind masks, they sensed something genuine within you. Even your imperfections felt real, and that honesty created a sense of trust that could not easily be manufactured. The listener noticed that every time your soulmate mentioned you, a subtle warmth entered their expression. It was the kind of warmth people carry when speaking about someone who occupies a meaningful place within their heart. Type Amen and allow gratitude to fill your day. Then something unexpected happened during the conversation. Your soulmate began speaking not only about who you are but also about what they hope for you. Their concern extended beyond their own feelings. They expressed a sincere desire for your happiness. They wanted good things to find you, even during moments when they were uncertain about their own future. That kind of wish comes from a place far deeper than simple attraction. Many people desire connection because of what they receive. Yet your soulmate's words revealed a different kind of affection. They genuinely wanted your life to flourish, your burdens to lighten, and your path to become brighter. The listener recognized the purity behind those sentiments. Real care reveals itself through selfless hope. It appears in the quiet desire to see another soul succeed, even when circumstances remain unclear. Comment 444 if you believe loving energy always finds its way home. As emotions deepened, your soulmate shared something they rarely admit aloud. They spoke about moments when they wondered whether you ever sensed the connection as strongly as they did. The thought remained with them more often than they cared to admit. They described periods of silence that felt unusually heavy. Not because communication was absent, but because your presence had become such an important part of their inner world. Distance sometimes magnified what closeness had already revealed. Still, they carried respect for the journey itself. Rather than forcing outcomes, they found themselves learning patience. They began understanding that meaningful connections often unfold according to their own rhythm. The listener could see that your soulmate had matured through this process. Their feelings were no longer driven by urgency. Instead, there was a growing sense of trust, as though they believed certain things would reveal themselves when the timing was right. Type 222 as a reminder that what is meant for you is never lost. At one point, your soulmate became unusually quiet. Their gaze lowered, and emotion flickered across their face before they continued speaking. The listener sensed that they were approaching a truth they normally kept hidden. Then they admitted that you had helped them heal certain wounds without even knowing it. Your kindness, your strength, or simply your existence had challenged old fears they carried for years. Some scars had begun softening because of the hope your presence inspired. Healing often arrives quietly. It rarely announces itself with dramatic signs. Instead, it enters through small moments of understanding, gentle reminders, and connections that encourage people to believe in themselves again. Your soulmate realized that meeting you had altered something within them. The change was subtle, yet undeniable. They were not exactly the same person they had been before your paths crossed. Comment 888 if you are ready to receive growth and clarity. The listener eventually asked how they would describe you in a single sentence. Your soulmate smiled softly, almost laughing at the impossibility of such a task. After thinking carefully, they said that you carry a light that remains visible even during difficult seasons. They explained that your strength is not loud, yet it influences everyone fortunate enough to encounter it. Those words lingered in the room long after they were spoken. The listener understood immediately that this connection was not ordinary. Too much emotion existed beneath the surface for it to be dismissed casually. Far beyond appearances and circumstances, your soulmate had come to value the essence of who you are. That realization formed the foundation of everything they shared. Type Amen if your spirit feels guided toward deeper connections. In that sacred moment of reflection, a message seemed to flow through the atmosphere itself. Archangel Michael says, "Some bonds are created not merely to bring companionship but to awaken parts of the soul that have been sleeping for far too long." Certain connections arrive carrying lessons, healing, growth, and reminders of one's true worth. Your soulmate may not fully understand every detail of this journey, but they recognize its importance. The emotions they expressed were not random. They emerged from a place of genuine recognition and heartfelt appreciation. Life often hides its most meaningful experiences beneath ordinary circumstances. What appears simple on the surface may carry profound spiritual significance underneath. Your connection reflects this mystery beautifully. The listener left that conversation with a new understanding. They realized your soulmate was speaking about someone who had become deeply meaningful, someone whose presence continued influencing their life even when unseen. Comment 555 to embrace positive transformation. As the day moved forward and the conversation ended, your name remained in the listener's thoughts. There was something unforgettable about the way your soulmate spoke. Every word carried authenticity. Long after everyone returned to their routines, the emotional energy of that exchange continued lingering. Certain conversations fade immediately. Others leave echoes that remain for years. This was one of those rare conversations. Your soulmate had revealed more than feelings. They had revealed respect, admiration, gratitude, and hope. Together, those emotions formed a portrait of a connection that continues evolving beneath the surface. And now, as these words reach you, perhaps there is comfort in knowing that your existence has touched someone more deeply than you realize. The impact you have made extends beyond visible evidence. My beloved child, never underestimate the power of your presence. The kindness you offer, the resilience you display, and the love you carry create ripples far beyond what your eyes can see. Somewhere within another heart, your name has become associated with inspiration. Your memory has become linked with comfort. Your spirit has become a reminder that meaningful connections still exist in this world. Not every truth arrives directly. Sometimes life allows you to discover pieces of it gradually, one revelation at a time. This message serves as one of those gentle revelations. The story continues unfolding even now. New chapters are being written. New understandings are emerging. What has been planted within the heart continues growing quietly beneath the surface. Type Amen if you trust the unfolding of your journey. As evening settles and silence returns once again, imagine the sincerity with which your soulmate spoke. Imagine the care hidden beneath every sentence and the warmth carried within every memory they shared. There was no performance in their words. No attempt to impress anyone. Only honesty. Only the simple desire to express what had been living within their heart for a long time. That honesty revealed something beautiful. It revealed that genuine appreciation survives distance, silence, and uncertainty. It continues existing because it is rooted in something deeper than circumstance. And so this message closes with a final reminder carried gently on the winds of spiritual understanding. Archangel Michael says that connections aligned with growth and truth leave lasting impressions because they are meant to teach the soul something valuable. My beloved child, continue walking your path with confidence and grace. The light within you is reaching places you cannot see, touching hearts you may never fully know, and creating transformations that extend far beyond your awareness. The conversation that carried your name has already happened. The words have already been spoken. The feelings have already been revealed. And somewhere, within the quiet chambers of another heart, your presence continues to be remembered with affection, respect, and profound gratitude. Comment 999 and step forward into the next chapter of your journey with faith, peace, and an open heart. The story does not end with what was spoken that day. In many ways, that conversation became the beginning of an even deeper realization. After the words had been shared and the room had grown quiet again, your soulmate found themselves reflecting on everything they had revealed. Sometimes people do not fully understand the depth of their feelings until they hear those feelings spoken aloud. What had lived silently inside their hearts suddenly became impossible to ignore. As the hours passed, memories continued returning one after another like gentle waves arriving on a peaceful shore. They remembered moments that seemed ordinary when they happened, yet now carried extraordinary meaning. The sound of your laughter, the way you handled difficult situations, the kindness you offered without expecting recognition, all of it returned with surprising clarity. The more they reflected, the more they realized that their admiration for you had grown through countless small experiences rather than one dramatic event. Great connections are often built this way. They are formed through consistency, sincerity, and the quiet accumulation of moments that slowly become unforgettable. Your soulmate began understanding that what they felt was connected to something deeper than attraction. It was rooted in respect. Respect has a unique power because it grows stronger with time. Unlike fleeting emotions, it becomes more valuable as understanding increases. Type Amen if you believe true connections grow stronger through sincerity. There were moments when they questioned why your presence remained so significant in their thoughts. Life offered distractions. Responsibilities demanded attention. New experiences appeared every day. Yet somehow, your energy continued finding its way back into their awareness. This puzzled them at first. They attempted to explain it logically, but some experiences resist simple explanations. Certain people enter our lives and leave a mark upon the soul itself. Their influence becomes woven into our journey in ways that cannot easily be measured. The listener from that earlier conversation noticed this as well. Days later, your name surfaced again naturally. There was no effort to bring you into the discussion. Yet somehow, the topic returned because your soulmate's heart had not moved away from what it had revealed. That listener smiled softly and said very little. Sometimes the truth becomes obvious without requiring further discussion. They could see that your soulmate carried genuine affection and a deep appreciation for the person you are. Comment 333 if you trust that meaningful connections leave lasting footprints. Meanwhile, life continued unfolding around both of you. New challenges appeared. New opportunities emerged. Seasons shifted. Yet beneath all these changes, something remained remarkably steady. Your soulmate continued carrying hope. Not a desperate hope. Not an impatient hope. Rather, a calm and quiet hope that trusted the future to reveal whatever was meant to unfold. They learned that peace often arrives when people stop trying to force answers and begin allowing life to move naturally. There is wisdom in this kind of patience. It creates space for growth. It allows emotions to mature. It transforms uncertainty into trust. Your soulmate gradually discovered that waiting does not always mean standing still. Sometimes waiting becomes part of the preparation itself. Type 111 and welcome divine peace into your heart. One evening, while sitting alone with their thoughts, they reflected on the qualities they admired most about you. The list was longer than they expected. Yet what stood out was not any achievement or accomplishment. It was your spirit. They admired your resilience during difficult times. They admired your ability to continue moving forward even when circumstances felt heavy. They admired the compassion you showed others, especially during moments when kindness seemed rare. These reflections brought a sense of gratitude. Your soulmate realized that knowing you, in whatever form your connection existed, had enriched their life. The experience had taught them valuable lessons about vulnerability, trust, and emotional honesty. Many people spend years searching for inspiration without recognizing it when it appears. Your soulmate came to understand that inspiration had quietly arrived through you. Comment 777 if you believe your light can inspire others without you realizing it. At this point in the journey, a gentle spiritual message seemed to emerge from the silence itself. Archangel Michael says that every meaningful connection serves a purpose, even before its full significance becomes visible. Some souls meet to awaken courage. Others meet to teach healing. Some meet to remind one another of their true value. The path between two hearts is rarely a straight line. It twists through lessons, growth, and self-discovery. Yet every step contributes to the greater picture that is slowly being revealed. Your soulmate may not possess all the answers. Neither does anyone else. But they have begun trusting the connection rather than questioning it constantly. That trust has brought them a sense of peace they did not have before. When the heart stops fighting what it feels, clarity often begins to appear naturally. Type Amen if you are ready to trust the timing of your journey. As the hours passed, memories continued returning one after another like gentle waves arriving on a peaceful shore. They remembered moments that seemed ordinary when they happened, yet now carried extraordinary meaning. The sound of your laughter, the way you handled difficult situations, the kindness you offered without expecting recognition, all of it returned with surprising clarity. The more they reflected, the more they realized that their admiration for you had grown through countless small experiences rather than one dramatic event. Great connections are often built this way. They are formed through consistency, sincerity, and the quiet accumulation of moments that slowly become unforgettable. Your soulmate began understanding that what they felt was connected to something deeper than attraction. It was rooted in respect. Respect has a unique power because it grows stronger with time. Unlike fleeting emotions, it becomes more valuable as understanding increases. Type Amen if you believe true connections grow stronger through sincerity. There were moments when they questioned why your presence remained so significant in their thoughts. Life offered distractions. Responsibilities demanded attention. New experiences appeared every day. Yet somehow, your energy continued finding its way back into their awareness. This puzzled them at first. They attempted to explain it logically, but some experiences resist simple explanations. Certain people enter our lives and leave a mark upon the soul itself. Their influence becomes woven into our journey in ways that cannot easily be measured. The listener from that earlier conversation noticed this as well. Days later, your name surfaced again naturally. There was no effort to bring you into the discussion. Yet somehow, the topic returned because your soulmate's heart had not moved away from what it had revealed. That listener smiled softly and said very little. Sometimes the truth becomes obvious without requiring further discussion. They could see that your soulmate carried genuine affection and a deep appreciation for the person you are. Comment 333 if you trust that meaningful connections leave lasting footprints. Meanwhile, life continued unfolding around both of you. New challenges appeared. New opportunities emerged. Seasons shifted. Yet beneath all these changes, something remained remarkably steady. Your soulmate continued carrying hope. Not a desperate hope. Not an impatient hope. Rather, a calm and quiet hope that trusted the future to reveal whatever was meant to unfold. They learned that peace often arrives when people stop trying to force answers and begin allowing life to move naturally. There is wisdom in this kind of patience. It creates space for growth. It allows emotions to mature. It transforms uncertainty into trust. Your soulmate gradually discovered that waiting does not always mean standing still. Sometimes waiting becomes part of the preparation itself. Type 111 and welcome divine peace into your heart. One evening, while sitting alone with their thoughts, they reflected on the qualities they admired most about you. The list was longer than they expected. Yet what stood out was not any achievement or accomplishment. It was your spirit. They admired your resilience during difficult times. They admired your ability to continue moving forward even when circumstances felt heavy. They admired the compassion you showed others, especially during moments when kindness seemed rare.